I'm headed to Montana, the land of big skies, grizzlies, and a place where Teddy Roosevelt once found himself in a bar fight. This ought to be good. I've spent over 2 decades scouring the planet for adventure, the craziest extreme sports, and amazing cultures. Now I'm taking my love for travel and excitement and pairing it with all things brewed, and I'm taking you with me. So grab a tasty beverage and strap in. This ride's about to get wild. My name is Jeff Coxen. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Brew.
Right now, we're taking control. Tired of waiting for something new. Right now, we're taking control. Tired of waiting for something new.
Welcome to Montana.
Thank you.
Welcome to the hangar. Yeah, beautiful place. Thank you.
I'm in Belgrade, Montana with Expedition Overland. This group has just completed the Pan American Highway from the Arctic Circle all the way to the southern tip of South America. They aren't your typical off-roaders. They are full-on overlanders that share my same passion for adventure and invited me up to their neck of the woods for a little exploration.
Well, I think today, Montana's pretty wet right now. We're getting some of the most rain we've seen in years at a given time.
Well, that'll be good for the summer, though.
Yeah.
Do you see, I don't know if you've seen it, like Idaho and then southern Colorado's on fire right now.
Yeah. The worry is that it grows a bunch of stuff and then it shuts off. And then we got tons of fuel and then we burn big time in August. But we'll see. We're glad to have it right now for sure. So with that being said, we're going to go probably into the gravelly range today. And it just kind of seems to be where the weather isn't the most.
Yeah.
So it'll allow us to get off road, go explore some stuff. It's not a very traveled mountain range.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's not much going on over there. There's not a lot of
Everybody
people
goes
there.
north?
Yeah, I don't know. They leave this area and then that spot's just kind of a hole in the map.
Kind of an obscure range, you know. There's a lot of stuff going on around it as well.
Good.
Yeah, it's cool. It's neat in there.
Cool, man. I'm all about that. Yeah, it's lovely weather.
Yes.
When's it breaking up again? How far out can you go? Is it 3 o'clock that it's going to break?
It goes to 3 o'clock, and it looks like it gets worse at 3 o'clock.
Is it?
But it's just moving through. So let's see.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so like 3 o'clock it hits, but then hopefully it just goes away. You know, they'll move
Sweep
through.
through.
It's just Montana. The storms move through. You don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got to love that.
Supposed to
good
clear
day
up by
bring.
this evening.
Yeah. So we should be good. So, and then tomorrow's looking really nice, so we can get some shooting done.
Okay. I guess that's all that's left now is just show me, let's look at these rides.
Yeah, want to see the trucks?
Dude, I've been wanting to see the trucks this whole trip.
Right on. So we've got the new Tundra in here. I'll show you that. And we've got we're going to be taking the 200 Series Land Cruiser. That's the truck that did Columbia to Ushuaia last year. And we got a couple of the other trucks around. We even have the new AEV Prospector sitting over here.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, let's go take a look.
Let's do it.
I'll show you. You bet. So this truck is our newest truck. We just started a new series from what we've been doing over the last 7 years with Expedition Overland. We've been shooting the Expedition Overland series,
Right.
which was Alaska, Yukon, Central America, and then
The whole
South
Pan American
America
highway.
last year. Yeah, completed the full Pan American.
That's insane.
And then this year we started a new series doing a lot more education and traveling around the U.S. and stuff. So we built this truck for that series. And this is the 2018 Platinum Tundra. It's in the Crew Max 4-door, which is like a limo in the back seat.
Right.
It's built for long distance hauls, you know.
Yeah.
And then really efficient camp setups. So it's the last of the body-on-frame platforms that we had built for Toyota. We've done Tacomas, 4Runners, the Land Cruiser, which we'll be in later. So the Tundra was really the last one that we needed to build out to complete the Toyota lineup for overland-specific vehicles.
Right.
So it's built from the ground up to move fast and be efficient in the mountains and camping.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny, the Tundra was I wasn't sure if I was going to go with the Tundra or Dodge. I wanted the Cummins.
Yeah,
I was like, I want to pull stuff,
Yeah,
really big stuff.
for sure. Yeah, so this truck is designed to rip, and then I also have, the AEV Prospector out there for towing stuff.
Life's rough for Clay.
Yeah. Sorry,
No,
guys.
this is
So with the P-Core system, the flatbed has a 20-gallon water tank forward of the axle. It's got a full pull-out drawer on the side. We mounted the Easy On Stealth rooftop tent on it, and then an awning that sits over the galley, which is mounted in here.
Oh, that's nice.
And then you got your full drop-out kitchen, which is pretty sweet. This drops.
What?
Yep. Then if you slide this out, you'll have your stove and then your sink. So
That's money.
yeah, and then the awning will go all the way
Goes over that.
over the top of that. So a day like today,
The 8 feet.
yeah, that's a good question. It's at least 6, if not 8. Yeah.
Nice, man.
So yeah, you got all your spices and stuff, and then we have an upright fridge in here, which is a new thing for us, and we're actually liking it quite a lot. Yeah. So
love
and then
that.
it all goes away very quickly. It's all built for speed. So up here, we've got right in here
Oh, there we go.
The-
Sound booth.
master editing suite. So Nick's running right now. He's cutting an episode of Overlander for us. So we designed that. It's like a casino. You never want to. It's like a casino. You never want to leave. Sound, voiceovers are all done in here, and it is wired for 5.1 surround if we can ever get there. So there's no hard lights. There's nothing sharp on your eyes, so you can stay there and have your eyes be as good as possible for as long as possible. Stuff that you pick up after editing for years, and my eyes are sore, and
Yeah.
so. And it's separate from the rest of the office, so this person can be interrupted the least.
Yeah. I like the lock on it too.
So yeah, and there's a lock on it. Get back to work, Nick. So yeah, we put a skywalk so that we could, we want to host events here too and stuff, and it just made it a little more homey, and then allows us to get different camera angles from up high.
Yeah, that's killer.
So
Looks cool too.
yeah, come on in here.
Steel. Yeah. Because your own granite.
We're in it for the long haul, so we're trying to build content that will stand the test of time. So you look around and you see a lot of people building quick YouTube content, and it's coming out fast, but it's not something that you would necessarily go watch in 3 years from now.
Yeah.
You have to stay on top of it and to keep your brand moving that way. And I just didn't want to do that. I want to build something that in 10 years people can come and watch this and they're like, yeah, this is still really cool.
Yeah.
So it'll grow slower, but hopefully it'll be around for a long time.
Yeah.
What else do you want to see, or are you just ready to roll? I mean, we got probably like a 3-hour drive to get to camp.
Okay.
After we put some time in on the trails and stuff.
Well, I've got a little surprise
So-
that we need to go back and grab in Bozeman real quick.
Okay.
So definitely, we're gonna get thirsty up there. So
Okay.
let's
Sounds good.
we can do that, and then let's check out the Land Cruiser real quick, and then if I can, I need to get a wrench to flip my ball on my trailer.
Yep, we can
I
do
have
that.
it low for travel.
Yeah.
And I did not bring my crescent wrench like an idiot.
Oh, we got you covered.
Cool.
Ty, you want to pull up the cruiser? Sweet.
Let's do it. Before we head out into the middle of nowhere, we have to make a quick beer run at Bunkhouse Brewing in Bozeman, just a few miles away. Hey! How are you? Good, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah.
Jeff, Nick, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Christina.
Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for doing this. Bunkhouse is dope. It's a smaller, quaint spot next to Montana State University, and it's chock full of ridiculous brews. My friend Jesse Bussard invited me to stop by and grab some of their award-winning beer for our trip. Nick Velasquez, head brewer and visionary of eclectic flavors, spares no expense to his insane range of brew. Anybody who brews a stout that tastes like a Hostess Ding Dong is all right in my book.
I gotta find me a place to call my home. Looking through the woods under rock and bone.
Yeah, this is a great time to be looking out for black bears and grizzlies. Actually, bears, when they come out of hibernation in the spring, they really like to feed on grass. It gets their system kind of reset, cleaned out, ready for the rest of the year after they're hibernating. So we're coming up into these mountains. These brand new grass sprouts coming out is really nutritious for them, and they just feed on it like crazy.
Good chance we'll see a bear.
Yeah, real good chance we get to see a bear this week.
Never been up to this area before. It was kind of a blank spot on the map for me, and what we needed out of a quick weekend warrior type of trip, this looks like the next place to go explore. We like to go and see new places all the time, so instead of going back to somewhere we've been, we rolled the dice and decided to come up here, and I think it panned out really well. As we were driving in, it was getting more and more beautiful. I would say that this area feels very much like wilderness. Even though it is not wilderness, it just has that feel. And yeah, right as we got to the last probably two miles, we started to run into the snow. And it's unseasonable to have this much snow here at this time of year. I can't remember the last time in Montana that at this elevation that there was this much snow. So that presented us with a little bit of a challenge right here, just right as we were getting into camp.
Hope it works.
And it'll go that way.
John Henry.
We're not one for rodding trucks real hard. We really work hard to protect our assets. So we did everything we could that we thought we could to get past the snow, but we had a hunch we'd get stuck. But Ty got out the Max Tracks, put them on underneath. We got a little bit further, but we just knew that this was going to take a while, so we got out the winch and made a pretty quick recovery, really, just over that last little hump, and got turned around and then had Jeff come through. He almost made it. But we just had to give him just a little bit of assistance, and then we're in camp.
Is that hot water?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
The hot water shower, and then it has a radiator. So when you guys are, cold tonight, our tent's gonna be heated by it inside.
We use friction.
Friction. That's a new one. Yeah, so it's got the hot water shower, on it, plumbed hot water to here, and then it radiates and has a blower in the tent
Right here.
and pushes heat into the tent.
That's awesome.
So it won't like heat the tent hot, but just keep that edge off. Like on a night like tonight, this stuff would be awesome.
Toasting.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna wake up and there's gonna be like 3 dudes in there with you, 3 camera guys.
wait.
Mhm. Okay, man.
Cream cheese jalapeno poppers. That sounds awesome.
Bacon wrapped cream cheese.
Bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers.
Pepes.
Yeah, firing some up. It's dropping. I'll bet it gets in the 30s, maybe high 20s tonight.
Yeah. So clear it first.
Okay, finger straighten off the trigger. Yep, until you're ready to fire. That's rule number 1.
Okay, and then I hold this.
Yep, pinch on these lines right here. That's for your hands to grip and push forward. There you go. Now, as you're pushing, look down the chamber and clear it. Make sure there's nothing in there. Hey, good job.
As the sun dies off, the temps lower, so we eat, drink some fantastic beer, and call it a night. Tomorrow we live that pew pew life. So like, we got it all, man. We got all this shit. Yeah, so we got lemon pepper. It's lemon pepper. It's not dirty South, which is like a Cajun seasoning. It's really good. Fiery lime chipotle, and the salt and pepper. It's really good. Though. Really good shit.
There's a rock there. So right now Clay is he's getting all the schematics and everything laid out for what is our current scenario that we're shooting right now. Weather, temperature, altitude, it all comes into effect when you're setting up a long range gun, which is what Clay's doing here. So it's good to have a good baseline and know what you're shooting here, because it's going to be different when we get back down to town, which is 5,000 feet. And it's going to be different when you get, to eastern Montana, which can get down to 2,500 feet. So, any kind of charting you can do now is going to save you in the long run. So you can learn what your gun's doing, what kind of round it likes. It's actually a really smart way to go about it, instead of just having to, pull it out of your butt the day of.
You got all your training in the Marines?
Boom. Correct. Yeah. So
How long did you serve?
6 years.
From when?
From 2012 to 2018,
Nice.
or excuse me, 2011 to 2017. We was done here April of last year, and I had some fantastic opportunities for some really neat training. SRT, which is SWAT, special reaction team, so it's our SWAT. Got to do some really great. Got SWAT certified in 2015. 2015 or 14, one of those years. I got SWAT certified, become a SWAT team leader, and then follow on training. They send you to SRT2, which is the sniper course, so you become a SWAT sniper.
Fun.
Send it. You are about, I'd say, three high from metal. Dead nuts on though, windage. I got a pretty good picture here. There's a squirrel up there right behind the target. I'll kiss you on the lips if you shoot him.
You must shoot the squirrel and moose.
We were the backcountry in BC doing the Mackenzie Trail, and Clay was flying in the air this like dusk, like almost dark drone shot. And I got up. He could hear me screaming over the radio or something, and I drew a little circle like maybe this big on the top of the taco on the habitat. I put an H on it. I said, Clay, if you land your wheels right there, I'll kiss you on the lips. Dead frickin' nuts, that sucker.
I got a kiss on the lips.
Yep, I followed up.
He made good on it.
I'm no pussy. So I think you're high left. I'd say 2 inches high, 3.5 left. I think, Clay, if I'm looking at the right thing. I mean, I watched the vapor trail. I got a little excited in my britches. 1,064, 1,058. So we're shooting for like 1,060. There's a big rock up on the hillside up there. That's line of sight, I think, Clay. So you're probably shooting more like 1,010.
Sucker.
It like bounced and like hang on.
It went right there.
Dude, that is, how big's that rock? That big? It's got to be like this.
Little less than a baseball, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey Clay, are you happy with your gun?
I'm really happy with my
Happy
gun.
with your setup?
Yeah, dude, that is amazing. Pays to build a custom rifle, I think.
That is pretty dadgum incredible. What a beautiful day too.
This is a Ramrod 7mm mag built by Northwest Action Works. We're gonna go ahead and this will be the second time I've gone 1,000. First time it was right on, so we'll see. And I'm kind of guessing on my setup here because I didn't bring my setup or my graph, so we'll see. Should be right on. We were right on at 600. Here we go.
Yeah.
Low to the right.
Yeah, I would say 2 feet low, 3 feet to the left. How did it feel?
Fine. It was okay. I think some of that was me.
Send it.
Oh, so close.
That was right on the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was.
You would have killed anything up there.
Oh, that'd be dead.
Yeah.
Kill shot. For
I mean, you were like this far.
Yeah.
Far.
The sheer beauty of this place is overwhelming. I wish we had more time to take it all in, but another brewery calls, and these boys have an adventure to prepare for, so we head down the mountain. Next stop, Map Brewing. Get a load of this place. A view every brewer dreams of having. A lake to swim and fish out of, killer architecture with reclaimed wood, you name it, they have it. The beer has a lot to live up to.
Well, hey, welcome to Map Brewing Company.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Welcome to Montana.
Thank you
for coming.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me to this beautiful state. It's
It
incredible.
is beautiful.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
we've run into like every type of weather already.
Yeah.
good. This time of year, you're going to get it too. You can get snow, rain, sun.
Yep, we've got that all. we were
That's why we love living
stuck
here.
in the snow yesterday,
Yeah.
which was great.
Well,
This,
we've got a lot of great things here in this state, and
Mm-hmm.
we're starting to get a lot of great beer too going in it, which is a lot of fun.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. Well, I guess we take a look. Show me your process.
So we're about 2.5 years old right now, and primarily production brewery with the tasting room. The laws here in Montana are a little bit different.
They're weird.
They are a little bit
What's with
weird.
this 8 o'clock BS?
Yeah, it's has to do with liquor licensing laws, and
They're weird in every state.
they are. And unfortunately, we can only serve beer between 12 and 8 o'clock. Those are our operating hours. Our doors stay open until 9. 3 beers per patron per day.
Whoa.
So limited on the amount that can be consumed by
So
each
people
person.
can't order by pitcher or anything like that, huh?
No. Yeah. We can do a lot of off-premise, so you can have your 3 beers and order as many off-premise beers, whether it be a crowler or a growler or small
Can they
keg.
drink it here?
No.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. And it's complicated, the whole entire liquor licensing laws of Montana, but it works at the same time. In a way, we're kind of lucky to have a model that is working, and we're not here until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that is a nice part
And
about
we
And
all
for us too, as
Yeah.
craft brewers, like we want people to enjoy and think about our beer, and
Yeah.
not just get a pitcher and slam it. Like that's not why we make what we make.
Yeah.
So the 3 almost kind of like makes you stop and enjoy your 3 beers.
Quality versus quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it kind of works really well for us. You
Good.
know?
That's awesome.
So back in this room, we have, we're still getting all our grain in bags here.
Right.
So 50-pound bags. And it comes in, and the first process is to get it through the mill. So, you know, when you look at a grain of barley, you know, they're malted, so it's almost like coffee roasting, right?
Right.
It's not the same process, but similar in terms of you're malting that barley to a certain intensity to get certain flavors out of it. And so when we get it, this whole grain, we dump it into the mill, and it's got roller pins in there. And so what it does is it breaks up that kernel
nice.
into a bunch of different pieces. And you got it's a pretty specific size that you have to. You can try it. It tastes really good. It tastes like grape nuts or something like that.
not
Dude, that's great.
You could have that after the bowl of
You're right,
cereal.
grape nuts. All right.
So we were talking about the malt that we use, and a lot of it's grown here in Montana, but then there's also European malts that we use, and depending on the style of beer, it depends on the level of malting that goes on with it. So this is a lighter style here that we'd be using, but then if you're going to do a stout, then you're going to have a lot heavier roasted barley in there, and it's going to be darker in color, a little bit more bitter and whatnot. So depending on style of beer, depends on the malt that we're using.
Yeah.
We generally use a couple different base malts for our beer, and going back to, once again, being lucky, a lot of it's just grown right around here. And, yeah.
And that's something we don't sacrifice on. I mean, there's shortcuts in any kind of industry you can take, you know, but ingredients, like we've always gone above and beyond and spent more money than probably the average place, but we want the best beer.
Quality, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you get what you pay for type of deal.
Yeah.
mean,
None
you've
of
got-
us like drinking shitty beer, so
No.
yeah.
Maybe every now and then on
Right.
the river on a
Yeah.
98-degree day,
Yeah.
we
True
partake
story. True,
in maybe
true.
something a little lighter, but
Yeah.
they only fill the gut up for about 30 seconds.
Pond water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've only got 4 ingredients that are going into beer, so might as well choose the right ones to
Yeah.
get you where you
It's
want to go.
amazing how simple, but how complex it is.
Yeah.
So little stuff, but it's how you do it and the temperatures and everything else that goes.
Absolutely. No, it's a process, 100%. I mean, you could give the same system, the same ingredients to 10 different breweries, and you're probably going to end up with 10 different beers. And a lot of that comes into the process, you know. And I think that's where we're really fortunate. Like Doug, our head brewer, that guy is process driven, and he really looks at the little nuances and understands them. And so I think that really helps our beer to be what it is.
And then there's the whole science side of it. And that's something that we're learning a lot more about as we evolve here. And we've been lucky enough to have somebody come in and join the team, and he's set up our lab. And it's just enabled us to measure all the different components of the whole entire brewing process, and knowing that, okay, we're good here. Okay, that tank's not clean. Let's redo it again, you know. So it definitely is. A lot of people think it kind of grows on trees, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, yeah.
Yeah, and the overall process is very simple, you know, but there's a lot that goes in between the simple sides of
Yeah,
it
little
too.
room for error.
Yeah.
The next thing you need to do is find a way to put this in a box, and then you can do it in like an IPA cereal. So you just pour IPA in
Oh
for
yeah,
breakfast.
yeah.
Probably sell these days,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
It's not a bad idea.
So like this is a 60 barrel fermenter. So we essentially can get 2 brews in here. So this is about 2,000 gallons. And you'll always know fermenters essentially because of the cone.
Yeah.
You know, and why you're doing the cone in there is because you want that particulate, whether it be yeast or hops, anything like that, to collect at the bottom.
Gotcha.
Right? So it's kind of like the bottom of the coffee. Like you don't want all those coffee grinds in your coffee,
Right.
You want it clean. So this allows us to take out the beer above it, let everything else come down to the bottom. We recollect yeast, and we'll use reuse yeast for the next beer, different beer, the same beer. And so yeast is really expensive. And so this allows us to get a lot of generations out of yeast. So maybe 8, 9 uses out of the yeast strain.
Oh, wow.
Because if we had to do it every time, you would just kind of lose your ass on buying yeast.
Yeah.
And then the hop sludge, everything else is kind of taken out of the bottom. And then the process, this is where all the fermentation goes in. These are all jacketed with external jackets that we use glycol. And that allows us to keep it at a cold temperature without freezing. And we get a constant temperature throughout the whole vessel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And up on top, we actually have ports that we climb up to very safely and put more hops in, and that's where your dry hopping comes in.
Okay.
Actually adding more hops up there. Cold fermentation takes a lot longer, but you also get a lot cleaner of a product. So there's certain beers, like Doug's really good, our head brewer, about brewing to style. You know, so like our Hefeweizen is not an American Hefeweizen, it's a Bavarian Hefeweizen. It's not something you want to add an orange to or anything like that,
Yeah.
because the flavor's in there. We use the right yeast for it.
Yeah. What do they say? You lose your man card when you add fruit to your beer?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I don't think you really need to. I mean, these are styles that have been brewed for eons, and they're brewed that way for a reason.
Yeah.
And so if you're using the ingredients that are true to that style, you shouldn't have to add anything else, you know?
No, it's like you always have that one friend who likes to put like ketchup on a fine steak. You just want to reach
Right,
across
yeah,
and hit
yeah,
slap 'em.
yeah.
It's like, don't you put that fruit
Yeah.
near that goddamn beer.
Right, exactly.
But there are some interesting beers that you can create by putting some additions into, and you can have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
We're not such purists to the point
Yeah.
where we're only going to do the 4 ingredients that are meant to be in
Oh,
beer.
no, for sure. Yeah.
Because people kind of like to have something new and interesting and fun to potentially have.
Yeah.
And fruit's an easy one
Yeah.
to go in there.
Yeah.
You can get a little too crazy, I think, on certain things going into a beer, but
Like a sour beer.
Like sour beer, yeah.
I'm still trying to get used to them.
Yeah. So we started to get into some barrel-aged beers, which is very fun and exciting.
My favorite.
Yep, and I wish we had twice as much room as we do to start putting these barrels in. But we've been working with Chardonnay barrels, port barrels, whiskey barrels, rum barrels, and it's amazing what
Tequila
happens.
barrels?
Tequila,
Oh.
yeah.
that's
tequila
a fun
too.
one right now.
We actually
Yeah.
just won a national award with one of those. With our, we took our Goza and German sour beer and put it into a tequila barrel, and amazing. You know, coming back to the barrels, so I mean, you know, the distillers that are using these barrels or vintners or whoever, you know, they're getting the oak, and it's a very, you know, methodical process in building these with all the staves, and then there's a certain charring process that goes into it based on how much char they want, you know, charcoal flavor kind of that they want
Yeah.
from whatever they're making. But when they're done with it, they're done with it. So the brewers have kind of picked up on these, like, man, these are some great vessels, and
Yeah.
they've got a ton of character, and you don't really, it doesn't change your alcohol or anything like that. Maybe by a point or two, but it's very minimal. So we've really taken off on that, and been putting a lot of beers in, and some of our beers that have come out of the whiskey and the bourbon and the Chardonnay and I mean the port. I mean, it's just, it absolutely changes the beer, and it just adds this different profile that you're like, holy cow.
Right.
I mean, like when you put stout into a whiskey barrel or bourbon barrel,
It's a game changer.
I mean, all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're like, I want bacon, eggs, and that beer.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I mean, it's just like,
Right?
it's unbelievable. So, yeah. So we started a process, and this one's actually really cool. This is a buddy of mine he makes wine, and he did about 6 years of red wines out of this one, and just called me one day. He's like, "Hey, I got this old barrel. Do you want it for the brewery?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Hell yeah.
So we put some of our farmhouse ale into this beer or into this barrel, and it's been aging for about 8 months, I think now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, as time goes on, you just got to keep testing it, which is why we have that nail there, so that we can just pull the nail, try a little bit. We're not allowing anything to get into the barrel because you have that pressure pushing it out, and then close it right back up. Like we wouldn't open the top or anything like that because then you're going to get yeast, bacteria, whatever that's floating around potentially in there. So
Should we give it a little?
let's
little
give it.
wing?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you
Yes.
game? You
I'm
ready
game.
for a little?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
You
right.
had me at wine
Okay.
and beer.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Let's give her a go.
Beer brewing is a game of patience.
Right?
It doesn't happen overnight.
No. It does when you go to the store.
There you go, man.
Thank you.
So this is just naturally carbonated. You know, we haven't carbonated this yet. Before we put this into a bottle or anything like that, we'll carbonate it out.
Wow.
You
That
smell
smells
that?
so good.
Doesn't it?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, and that's that Belgium style
Yeah.
farmhouse. It's just the aromatics on that are really unique.
And that's where, that's the yeast playing. And that's coming back to like the Hefeweizens and things like that that are, not brewed maybe to style.
Yeah.
You know, they add something else to it. But if you add it or if you brew it to style and you're using the right yeast, then you really get a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
I'll close her up. Good.
Don't waste a drop. I'm not going taking it out till you get it plugged. I'm getting every drop.
That's right.
That's what she said. Okay.
Well, cheers, gentlemen.
Hey,
Yeah,
cheers.
man. Thanks for coming to Montana.
Coming out and visiting us. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, half of that beer is just like, I don't even want to drink it yet. I just want to smell it,
Wow.
Just the flavor. I mean, you smell that, and there's just
That's
like
insane.
a bunch of different stuff going on there.
That's like one of those rare beers that would be good warm.
It is
Yeah.
good warm, and
Yeah.
it's good warm uncarbonated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you just add those next two levels, and it just makes it even pop more on the tongue there.
Wow.
That's
You're
really
right. Like
tasty.
that just perfect amount of carbonation that pops. Yeah, exactly what we just said, right on the tongue.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
the
And
then it's
carbonation
just
does. It
boom,
makes your tongue a lot of times
flavor.
just prickle a little bit,
Yeah.
with that. But I mean, really, there's no need to even.
That
do
is
that.
incredible.
Isn't that good?
That is so good.
Yeah.
It almost has like a pickle smell to it, kind of like I don't know how to describe it.
I think it's the tartness.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
just perfect, man.
Yeah.
So we're a little limited on space in here, which if we had more space, it'd be great to truly rack these up and put them aside and let it happen.
You have to start putting them in the rafters in the pub.
But
Yeah,
I live
yeah.
a little bit north of town here, and I'm at the base of the Bridger Mountain Range. And I don't know if you've ever seen in wine country where they have these machines that bore into the mountainsides or the hillsides, and you basically create your own
Cooler.
cave.
Yeah.
And they then age their wine
wines,
in there
yeah.
too. And I want to do it up here. I just want to get this machine, bore a big old cave into the side of the mountain, brew it here, take it up on the trucks, and just let it sit in there.
That'd be killer.
I'd sit in there with it. We could just walk
Right, we'll just take the desk and the chair in there and just hang
Exactly,
out.
yeah.
Tell the wives we're just working for a few days.
Yeah, right.
You know? Yeah.
I'm going to the man cave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
truly.
The real man cave. No doubt. God, well done, gentlemen. This is that is just phenomenal. Unbelievable.
Well, I cheers you to being in Montana. Welcome here.
Yeah, man.
And
Good to have you.
Thanks for coming by here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Well, I want to try these other award-winning beers we keep hearing about. Let's go do it.
We've got some of those.
Let's do it.
All right.
I see all the awards hanging up.
Those
Yeah.
are trophy racks.
Yeah. Those are the, those
That's
are the
right.
trophy racks.
Heck yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, in many ways.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh yeah.
Names are so difficult
So where do you
to
come
come
up
up
with your
with. Oh, it's
Do you guys have inspiration or
well,
Scrabble bag?
every beer is different. So a lot of times it could be the ingredients that go into the beer. It could be something that is with Thunder Monkey, as we just explained, was the summertime and the banana attribute from the yeast.
Right.
So every beer is a little different, and then you throw around so many different names, and they hopefully one is going to end up sticking and saying, yeah, that sounds good. Dash is pretty good at coming up with a lot of names, and they eventually one out of that is going to be like, okay, that's it. But really, if you think about all the different names of our beers, they stem from everybody that works here, and it's kind of a communal effort to name them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We keep Doug, so Doug, the head brewer, he comes up with some crazy ones. We're going to get into one of his later, but he's just got a funny sense of humor. So usually when he's like, we should call it this, we're like, we're not calling it that. Yeah. No, that didn't make the list. But,
Yeah, right.
But then you've got Pink Unicorn Boy over here too.
Yeah.
And he's like, comes up with these names. It's like, really? All right. But eventually, one sticks.
Yeah.
And it's great.
So this is Midas Crush.
Okay.
It's a West Coast style IPA, 6.9%.
Got that wonderful IPA smell.
Yeah, and so this is, the beauty of this beer is, well, a couple things, but it's brewed with Citra and El Dorado, so hops, as well as a little Chinook just for bittering, but predominantly it's Citra and El Dorado, and the Citra really brings out that, like, you get tangerine, watermelon, a little bit of orange in there, and makes a great mix of those hops. And then the West Coast style is it's a very dry finish.
Yep, it is.
Which we kind of appreciate. We all kind of like that style.
Yeah.
Doug likes brewing to that style.
Yep.
So you'll find a lot of our beers have that kind of nice dry finish versus a lingering bitterness, you know?
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't. It's there. There's that little bitter bite, but it doesn't stick around to where you're like, oh god,
Right.
I need water.
Right. The tongue in the back of the mouth.
You're like, shit, I either got to keep drinking this or I need some water to go with it.
But if you go too big on your bitterness, you can't have a few of them. You're going to have one, and it's going to be, at least in my opinion, now, you know, there's hopheads out there that love
bitter.
Those are weird people,
but
though.
I like to be able to have
Yeah.
I like to have a few of a style of beer and not just have the one and be done.
Yeah, this is dangerously sessionable. This is our number one selling beer.
I can see why.
At many of the bars in this area, it's number one selling beer. Super easy
What's
to
ABV
drink.
on it?
6.9.
That's not too
Yeah.
bad.
No, IBU is 65. Yeah.
It's a good lake beer.
And then let's go back to names on that. So this one's Midas Crush.
Yeah.
Right.
It stems off of the two hops that we are using in it, Citra and El Dorado. El Dorado, kind of in a roundabout way, King Midas, everything he does turns to gold.
Yep.
Citra hop goes back to the Orange Crush days of growing up, so Midas Crush.
Yeah.
No,
That's how that was born. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's a really good beer.
We've been really lucky to have this one take off in our market, and IPAs are not an easy market to get into as a new brewery. And to be able to have one actually work and sell was we got pretty lucky with that one. And it's a good mainstay around here. People seem to really gravitate towards it.
So how often do you guys find a beer that just completely fails and you just...
Amazingly, knock on wood, it's been very rarely.
Yeah.
Doug, when we first started, you know, we
It
had...
happens though.
So that's a question that never gets asked.
Right.
Is,
Yeah.
okay, how many times do you fall on your ass
Right.
and people don't buy it and you've got all this surplus of it?
Well, I'll tell you a great story. So, we opened 2015. Our first summer was 2016. We planned on brewing about 700 barrels the first year. We ended up doing 2,000.
Right.
So almost quadrupled what our expected brewing was going to be at production. That summer came around. We're the new kids on the block. We didn't know how we'd be received. We're outside of town. You know, it takes, you know, a little bit of time and effort to get here, whether you drive or bike or whatever. And we don't have any walk-by traffic. Like, there's no other reason other than if, like, you work in a business around here to come here. You know what I mean? And so we kind of didn't know, like, how it was going to go down and how it was going to be. And, man, people flocked here. And the analogy I give people is, like, we live in Montana to be a little bit off the beaten path, and much as our location is a little bit off that beaten path, you know? Like, we'll go a little bit off the beaten path to get this.
Well, where are you going on this path? Because we're talking about failure of beer, okay?
I'm getting there. It's a long about way. Yeah, it's a long about way. Stay with me, Grandpa.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, stay with me. So that first summer came around, and, you know, we expected things to be like, you know, like decent business, but like not crazy. That first summer came around and it was just like, dude, hold on to your hat, because like here we go, like warp speed. And so we were down to having 3 beers on our board, which is kind of insane, right? We've got
Not
16
good.
taps downstairs. We had 3 beers. And it's not because we didn't want to have more beers, but we just couldn't keep up with the beers already.
Which is a good problem.
It's a great problem.
Yeah.
So Doug went on vacation for a week, left PK and I instructions. He said, hey, you got to watch this beer. It was a Dank Vader, which is our double IPA that we do seasonally, once a year. And he said, when it gets to a certain level, I want you to crash the beer for us. So we looked at it and we said, okay, great. You know, it looks like probably Wednesday or Thursday. So Wednesday or Thursday came in. We just crashed the temperature and went back to like, you know, running and gunning. It turns out the piece that was missing in that process was we didn't take the time to stop and taste that beer. Had Doug been here, he would have been like, oh, it's not ready yet. It's not ready to crash yet. So we crashed it. Turns out, like, totally went sideways. For 2 months, we had that beer in a fermenter, trying to save it, trying to bring it back, doing all these different things to bring it back to a drinkable level, servable level. We still only had 3 beers on, and we're like, shit, man. So we're like, all right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this beer, you know, call it the X beer at this point, and we're gonna blend it with another beer that we have, and we're just gonna make this like blended beer, which is great if you know how to do it. But the product there that we were blending with just wasn't great. Yeah. And so we put it on tap because we're like, great, we got 4 beers. All right, great, we got all this beer now, we're okay. Day 2 came, we had it on for a day. Day 2 came, we all looked at each other and we're like, beer is shit.
Sucks.
We're like, and we're in the worst way we needed beer. Above and beyond anything else, we needed beer. And we had all this beer. We had 60 barrels of this beer. And we all looked at each other and we're like, we don't want our name on that beer.
Yeah, take
Like,
it off.
We
we're done.
tried to figure, okay, if you were that first customer coming through somebody's store and that's the beer that you ended up ordering, that's not the beer we want somebody to have.
Yeah.
And so it's not worth just putting out the product for the mere sake of having it and saving $1 or just having the product. It's not worth it because you're going to turn people off more than not, and they're not going to come back. And so, but that was truly one good case of, but it all went down the drain.
Yeah, we dumped it. We dumped the entire thing.
Yeah, well, that's a part of it, right?
Yeah.
In the time when we needed it the most, we just said, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want that. So they do go wrong, you know. Luckily, Doug has gotten to the point where, you know, we don't really do test batches anymore of beers. Like he essentially, if we're going to do, like we got a new pale ale that'll probably come out on Monday. And, you know, it's a brand new recipe. But we've got faith in Doug, and Doug has faith in Doug that he can brew it.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's good. Like we'll still hit those bumps and stuff, but
There's always going to be a batch that goes
sour.
Goes awry.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes.
But I think the importance is sticking to your guns.
Yeah.
You know, and just knowing that like that's not a beer that we want to have out with our name on
If you're
it.
smart enough to realize it and just say, fuck it, just let's get
Right,
rid of it.
yeah.
What's
Let's
even
just discount it. $1 beers for everybody.
Yeah.
What's even scarier though is that when you have equipment breakdown where you could lose all your beer and have it all go bad at one time. So it's a production facility. It can shut
Shit
down.
happens.
Electricity goes out, whatnot. And when that equipment goes down, temperatures rise, and all of a sudden you're sitting on a couple hundred barrels of beer that is gone. But
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, Jesse.
There's still more beer to try, so I asked Jesse and Clay to join me once again and shoot the breeze over a few beverages.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks
Let's have some amazing beer. What do we have here?
this first beer that we're going to try is the Gravity Rider
Gravity
German alt
Rider.
beer.
Germany alt. Okay.
Yeah, it's German alt beer, so it's typically a maltier kind of like ale-like beer. Yeah,
Malt, not alt.
right.
Like alternative, like I'm not going to school today, Mom.
Yeah, so an alt beer in Germany, an alt beer would be brewed with an ale yeast and not a lager yeast,
Oh.
which is what Germany's kind
Germany's
of
known
famous
for
for.
it.
All right.
I was thinking more of like listens to Green Day and wears baggy pants and refuses to shower, but
I like it. It's good.
It's good.
It's really delicious.
It's heavier than I anticipated looking at it.
It's got a nice like toasty malt flavor.
Yep.
It's not too much though. It's not too sweet.
Yeah.
It still finishes pretty dry.
What's the ABV?
6.
Oh yeah. That's really good though.
Yeah.
That's a very drinkable beer. That's
Like you'd come in just for this one
yeah.
and just sit there. And
Would you?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, for sure. But there's more.
I think this would like pair really well with like a steak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
obviously you work at Bunkhouse. And you get to come in here, your business partner and best friend works here. So there's obviously, you know, there's dichotomies and different breweries and different things because there's, you know, everybody wants to have more customers at their place or your place. But the great thing is the community here is so close knit, as we've talked before.
Yeah, it is.
What do you see here that's so much different than something like what you guys are doing at Bunkhouse?
These guys here are more about, you know, creating an environment, like I feel like it's like a family kind of place here because they have the food, they have like a play area downstairs for kids.
Yep.
People are coming here with their families. This is a place that like when you have family in town or friends visiting, you want to bring them here because it's got a sick view of the Bridgers.
Yep.
It's got a great
ridiculous.
patio. There's trails close by. The beer's awesome. The food's great, and the staff here is excellent. They know their beer really well,
Yeah.
and if you don't know what you want to order, they can pretty quickly help you figure out something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've loved coming here as a local. Outside of the beer world, coming here it's like a little refuge for people.
Yeah.
It's really a great place.
I mean, how could you not order any beer? You could have a shit beer and it would be enjoyable at this view.
Oh
Yeah,
It's
but
insane.
I don't think that'll happen.
No, I don't
No.
think so either. I don't think there's anything these guys do bad or even mediocre at all.
Yeah.
Their bathroom even is awesome.
It is. It's pretty cool.
It's, I mean, the architecture, everything that they go into is incredible.
put
What I
a
really
lot-
want to know is who owns the house on the top of the hill, because that's the real estate. Besides this place, that's the real estate to have. That's like what
I don't know who owns
5 minute
that,
walk into the
but
wilderness.
Probably
Yep.
way more than all three of us could afford if we put all of our incomes together.
Probably. That's usually
For
who
1
owns
month.
those. For 1 month, yeah. So what's our next one here?
Our next beer is actually one of my favorites. This is the Strange Cattle New England IPA.
Nice
So what makes a
hazy.
New England IPA?
So New England IPAs are obviously they're from New England.
Okay.
They kind of got their start. Kind of one of the iconic ones is the Heady Topper beer from
Okay.
Alchemist in Vermont.
Okay.
But the kind of key characteristic when you look at a New England is it's hazy
Okay.
in its kind of look, and
Mm-hmm.
then the flavor. There's low bitterness and just a lot of citrus and like hoppy, fruity aroma
Okay.
and flavor.
Awesome.
So it should.
But it
helps.
doesn't deflate their footballs. And
Yeah.
no,
It smells very flowery.
Yeah.
in a way.
yeah, real citrusy, flowery.
So
yeah.
yeah, this has got like Citron Mosaic and Simcoe and those kind of like really tropical fruity hops in it. This is about a 6.5% alcohol by volume.
Oh, that's
So
good.
It's delicious.
I love anything with mosaic is almost
This is like
always great.
hands down. If I'm gonna come into Map
Yeah.
and I want a beer, if they have this on the board, that's what I order
Okay.
because it's just my go-to.
And what's the ABV on this one again?
6.5.
6.5. Yeah, still right. I mean, that's a great drinkable.
But it's just it's so easy to drink. And
It's really easy to drink.
And the bitterness isn't there.
It's not there.
It's so mild. So like I think the great thing about this beer too is like if you don't think you like IPAs, it's super approachable.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah.
Not a lot of bitterness to
And
it.
this is really good.
Yeah, it's really approachable for people that are
For
like
sure.
first time IPA drinkers or they're
This
unsure
is a
if they
gateway
like
IPA.
This is a gateway IPA.
Yeah.
Was there any beer in Greenland?
There was beer in Greenland.
Was
I
it-
just came back from an expedition in Greenland.
Oh man, that sounds fun.
It
was cold
fun.
beer, right?
It was very cold. Yeah. And what did we have there? We had, their claim to fame is the water that they
Yeah.
are brewing with, straight off the ice cap, the Greenland ice cap and stuff.
And you're
very
saying it was
refreshing. I can't
100%
recall.
pure, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Incredible.
100% pure. Traveled all across Greenland, taking water samples, and from the south to the north, every sample we took was 100% non-polluted snow, 100% water.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the purest places on earth. Well, it's totally pure.
Yeah.
So, That's why that beer was so good. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Was it like a lager or what kind of beer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
lagers.
was. But pretty light, you know.
Yeah.
Wasn't a heavy beer.
That's crazy. So what do we got next?
We are finishing with a big beer here. It's a
Okay.
double IPA. It's called Dank Vader.
Okay.
Dank Vader.
Map brews this annually to release on May the 4th.
Really?
May the 4th be with you.
All right. Well,
You got it.
we'll toast to that. Then,
Cheers.
huh? Cheers.
Cheers. It's 9%.
Wow.
It's got a bite.
It's got
That's
a
pretty good.
Pow.
No doubt.
They
Yeah.
claim it's 100 IBUs,
Yeah.
but I don't really get that much bitterness out of it. Like
There's not a lot of bitterness, but there's a kick in the
But there's
face there for a second, and
there's
then it just
definitely
smoothens
like
out.
an alcohol warmness when you drink it, but
Okay.
like there's a really nice like citrusy kind
For
of
sure.
tropical floral kind of
Yep.
hop flavor and aroma to it. This is really nice,
Boy, there is just so much flavor to
but
that.
it's dank smelling.
Yeah.
It smells dank, I think.
Mm.
It's good beer.
That is so damn good.
That is quite the drink.
Yeah, there's a lot
Quite
of
the brew.
levels to that. A lot.
It's one of my favorites. And you can only
Yeah.
get it once a year, so it's kind of fun.
That's pretty funny.
How long
it's
does it
perfect.
last?
Well, they released it on May the 4th, and we've been about 6 weeks. It's
Okay.
still on tap, but I don't think it's going to be around too much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to thank you.
Oh,
Toast
thank you.
again. So,
it was a great time.
Thanks for the off-roading.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for mini beers.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hanging
Thanks
out with
for
us.
coming and having fun.
So what do you think? You're fairly new to this, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And because you got a really, unbiased opinion, what's your favorite one out of the three that you tried? You can try them all again real quick.
I think the one that stretched me the most is this one,
Yeah.
for sure.
Good.
But I could see the quality in it. I could,
Yeah.
sense that. This one, I think, was the most fun.
Yeah.
If that is the way to describe beer.
Yeah.
That's a
Because
good
it
thing.
was good, and that one's just pleasant.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with this one.
There you go.
Nice.
What about you?
Oh,
You're
I'm
like,
probably-
I like them all.
I really love all the beers here. I said that this one's my go-to, but as far as just favorite out of the three we just tried, I'm gonna go with Dank just
Dank
because I only get it once a year, and I always look forward to it. So
Yeah.
every
Special
time,
that way.
every time Dank comes out, it's like Dank's coming out next week.
Yeah, all right.
So stoked! That's always my favorite thing to when they come out with a special one that I really like. And
That's
I
your
like
pumpkin spice latte?
to- Yeah. I don't know about that, but
No, I'm with Clay. I'm a sucker for New England
But
IPAs.
this
It's
New
so
England
good.
is also so good. So it's like it's
It
a good
is
between
good.
these two, but because this is only like a seasonal, I'm gonna probably pick that one.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I can get this whenever I want,
Exactly.
and pretty much anywhere in town I want.
Yeah. Well,
I'll be back for this one.
yeah, you're going to be back for that. You can mail me some,
Yeah,
like last time.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
all
some
right.
growlers of it.
Well, guys, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers again.
Cheers again.
Cool.
Cheers.
There is absolutely no question Bozeman is amazing. Although it has a few odd laws for breweries, it completely makes up for it everywhere else. The Big Sky State delivers everything an adventurous could ask for. When I was younger, I always wanted to spend a lot of time out here, but I never had the chance to. Now that I'm here, I don't want to leave. It reminds me of Nobel Prize winner John Steinbeck, who once said, "I'm in love with Montana. For other states, I have an admiration, respect, recognition, even some affection. But with Montana, it's love, and it's difficult to analyze love when you're in it." After visiting here, I concur with you, John. It definitely is love. Cheers.